Hello everyone, this is Tracy with Paper Closet Designs. Welcome to my studio. Today's video we are going to be finishing up these Halloween platform pop-up box cards. So I've done a few of these. They are done a little bit different than some of the ones that you've seen before, but they go together pretty quickly and they pop down so that you can mail them. And I do have a envelope that is the perfect size for these that I'll be showing that to you as well. And then they just pop open and then you can display them on your desk or wherever you want. So let's go ahead and get started. I have two of these today. We're going to start with the envelope though first. So the envelope will need a 12 by 12 sheet of paper to cut out, and I'm just using cardstock, but you could do this with printed paper or about anything. When you receive it, it has 8 score lines, 2 on each side, and that gives it the thickness that it needs to be able to hold these boxes. So all I'm going to do is score on all the lines folding up towards me. Just like that. I'm going to do that all the way around. So this envelope goes together really quickly, and it is the perfect size for these. It is a 5.5 by 6 inch envelope. I do use these mostly for hand delivering. You could probably put it in your, take it to the post office, but it will take extra stamps if you mail this size. Okay, so once these are done, I like to use the longest flap as my top piece. So what I'm going to do is fold these two over, and then we would bring this bottom one up and glue it. So I'm going to put glue all along this tab right here, and I do like to use my glue bottle, my mini glue bottle. This is the glue that I like. It's the Scotch No Run Tacky Glue. They have changed the bottle a little bit, so it might not look exactly like this, but that's the one that I like to use. And then I just put it into one of these small quilling bottles. And if you want to, you can add a drop of water or two to thin it out so that it flows really nice. Okay, we're going to fold those in and then take this bottom one. And I do like this glue for another reason, and that is it dries clear. So, if you don't get it glued to the back. So that's all there is to that envelope. And then when you go to mail it, you just take this down and you can tape it or put a sticker or whatever you want. So I'm going to set that to the side so that it will dry. And we are going to start with the Witch's Cauldron. So let me show you the pieces that come with it, and then we will go ahead and assemble it. First off, you will have a printed little tag. This says Trick or Treat, and you can just print this and cut it out. And then it has some decorative panels. I have used the digital paper from my collection, which is the Halloween Dots and Stripes. So it's blank on one side because I printed this. I do have a video explaining how to do this, and it's really, really simple. Or you can cut it out of any pattern paper that you already have, or you can even cut it out of a solid cardstock. So you'll have those pieces. For your back piece, you have this piece right here that doesn't have a letter on it. This is an extra piece. It just gives it a little bit of stability depending on the weight of the cardstock. You may want this or you may not. So for the back piece, we have the 3 stars. You have the half moon and the full moon, and then the back piece. And the back piece has a bee on it. So let's assemble that one first. What I'm going to do is take my full moon, and it is cut so that it is just a little bit larger than this back piece. And when you lay it on here, you'll notice that there's kind of like a T across it. You want this to just sit right down in there, like so. I'll bring that up so that you can see it. And you'll notice on the back that it does show through a little bit, but that's okay. We wanted it that way. Okay, now we have the half moon. You could also use a tape runner with this, but when we start doing the box, the card, I actually like the glue a little bit better. Okay, so we're gonna just put the half moon on there. And then we can put our stars on. You have one larger star and then two smaller ones. You can add those any way that you want to. There's no have to, no set place for them, just wherever you want them. I'm going to do that up a little bit higher. And then I do want my my extra piece. I'm going to put that on there. So I'm going to flip this over and then just put glue on the back of here. And then you'll just match up the bottom like that. Okay. There is our back piece. So our back piece is ready. The next piece that we have is our front piece. And for this one, it's pretty simple. You'll notice that it's the front piece because it has the F cut out at the top. Let me hold that over there so you can see it. And then this one just has the bubbles. And so there's dark green and two lighter green bubbles. And you don't even have to use the lighter ones if you don't want to. They just add a little bit of color to it. But if you're trying to keep things simple, then just do the green ones. You could even do your bubbles out of purple if your potion was purple. There we go. And we'll add this one. Okay, there is our front piece. The last one that we're going to do is actually the middle piece, and it has the most little pieces to it. And you'll know that it's the middle because it has the M. And so this one has, let me get this little piece over here. It has your cauldron and your witch's feet. So the cauldron is made up of one solid piece and then two different colors of smaller circles. And that's what makes the bubbles, the potion. The cauldron is two pieces, and that's because if you wanted to ink those up, you could. And I'm actually going to show you how to do that. And then we have two pairs of shoes, two belt buckles, those are pretty tiny, and the legs. And the legs I did out of the dot paper as well from that same collection. This is the orange and black dot. So let's go ahead and ink up our cauldron. When I do inking, I like to use my distress crayons and a makeup sponge. And on the black, I'm actually going to use the white one. So all I'm going to do is take a makeup sponge and color on it. And the white, I have noticed, does take a little bit more. We could even do gray. We'll try the white, and if we don't like it, we might do the gray. And then you're just going to take your little piece and drag it across there. Now I can tell by looking through the camera that that's not showing up. In real life it is, but it doesn't look like it on the camera. So let's go with this gray one. And maybe hopefully that will show up on camera a little bit better. So again, I'm just going to color. on my makeup sponge. And you could do this with an ink pad if you had an ink pad. And it's still not showing on the camera. It's really pretty. And just go as light or as dark as you want to give that some dimension, a little bit of look. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on the cauldron. I'm going to ink that up a little bit more. And on the cauldron, I don't need to do the top because it's on the top of the brim. Okay, and there we go. Okay, I did turn the camera off and go over that a little bit darker so that hopefully you can see it on the camera. If not, it's an optional step that you don't have to do anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to take glue and we're going to glue on the feet and the legs first. And again, this is printed paper. You could do it out of just about anything, including a solid cardstock if you wanted to. And then we're going to take our boots. We're going to glue them on. Oops. There's the boots. And then we're going to take these little tiny belt buckles or boot buckles and glue them on. And they are pretty tiny, but they will cut out with your machine. Doesn't matter which machine you're using. I've done it on both and they will cut them out. But this is why I like this little tiny glue bottle. And if you don't want those on there, you don't have to put them on there. It's not gonna make or break your card. It's just one more little cutesy thing on there. But if you don't like dealing with the little tiny things, then don't do it. Okay, now let's go ahead and glue on the cauldron. And the cauldron brim. Now, if you did not want to ink these up, you could not do this piece. It doesn't have to be done. I like mine to have lots of detail, but I also like to give it the option that they're still cute if you don't want to do all of that. And then we've got our bubbles. So let's go ahead and glue those bubbles on. And then we have these others, the colors. So we're going to do the lighter ones first. And you can just put them on there randomly wherever you want. There's no right or wrong way. This one is kind of an oval one, so it needs to go kind of where there's an oval spot. So we're going to do it right there. Stick that down there. And then we have the darker green. And you don't even have to use all of those if you don't want to. In fact, I'm thinking I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use this one right here. Whoops. Okay, now let's set those 3 pieces aside and work on the card base. So this is your card base, and it has marks on it. So this is where your front piece is going to go, your middle piece, and your back piece. And I know the B is pointing backwards, but that's okay. There are also score lines across here. So we want to fold all of those score lines down. So they go across the bottom. And then we have them on the platform pieces. And there's a tab. Okay. So once that's done, we want to go ahead and glue on our decorative panels. We're just going to go ahead and glue those on. I had all of this stuff cut out last week, and then we had some family stuff come up, so I'm kind of behind, and I want to make sure I've got everything that I need on here. Oops, that's not good. You want to make sure that you get these down in the corner, otherwise, get the glue in the corner, otherwise when you're folding the box back and forth, it may pop off. And I really do like using digital paper. I think one of the biggest advantages is you always have it on hand. So if you mess up your project, you don't have to run back to the store to get more. Okay, then we have our little trick or treat sign, and it goes on the piece that says front, and this is the top. Is that right? Nope, this is the bottom. So it's going to come up here on the front, and it's going to be on that top part. Just like that. Okay, now we are ready to put our pieces into place. So we are going to start with the front piece. I'm going to bring up my tab, or my tab that has the F on it, and it has a score line right on the bottom. I'm going to fold that down and score it, and then open it back up, and it is going to slide right in that first slot where it says front, just like that. Okay, we're going to flip it over, and we're going to add glue to the tab only, and then fold it. Not, see, this is the tab. We want to fold it on this line right here. So we're going to fold that whole thing over and press that down. And if you didn't get that, you can rewind it, or it will show you again on the next card. And then we want to make sure that we flip it up, and that piece is going to pop up, and it is. So next, we want to lay that down flat. We're going to put glue on the tab that says F, and we want to fold that down and then bring this piece up all the way to the top. There's our T-bar, and we're going to just press that right there. And then when you pop that open, there's your front piece, your little bubbles. So that's the front piece. Next, we want to do the medium piece. So we have the medium, the M. We're going to take our medium insert piece. There's no score line on this. It just says M. And we want to put glue on the front of that tab, just on the tab part. We're going to flip it over so that it's facing the same way. And then we want this edge right here to go right above that score line. So I'm going to hold that down. Just press it, and then when that piece pops open, there is our feet. And that looks good. I might have needed to go down a little bit more, but okay, now for the bottom, the back piece. So we want to, this is what gets a little bit confusing, but it's not hard. So if you'll notice, your B, your back, is pointed to the left. It looks backwards. So when we put this piece in, we want to put it in backwards as well, so that the B is pointing to the left. So when I slide that in, both pieces are now pointing to the left. They're backwards. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to turn this tab down. Turn it down. Sorry, I did that backwards. We're going to turn it down and put glue on it. And then when we fold it on that second crease line, not the tab, but the second crease line, the tab that is folded under is going to lay right there between the edge of the box and the crease line right there, fold line. Just make sure that it works. Pop it open, and it does. So now we need to put glue on the B tab. And then we can just fold this up and press it. And there is our back piece. So now we are ready to finish the card. So what we'll do is we are going to take glue on this flat piece and take this second flat piece and match those up and glue them together. Make sure that they're even on the top. If you need to squish it down. Oh. Not up there. Fold it and make sure that everything is laying nice and flat. Fold it the other direction. Make sure it's all laying nice and flat. And then we're going to put glue on this final tab. And glue that corner so that's a nice sharp corner. Just like that. And there is your box, and you will want to pop it open in both directions a couple of times, although maybe wait till the glue's dried, because I'm doing it and my glue's popping open. And then there is the Witch's Cauldron Trick or Treat pop-up box. To put it in the envelope, yeah, I moved that too much while it was wet. To put that in the envelope, we're just going to slide it right in. It just fits nice and perfect. And there you go. You can give that card to your neighbor, your friend, your grandchild, teacher, they can pop it open and display it. I'm gonna let that dry. Quit messing with it and let it dry. Okay, next one is the Halloween night, and it goes together the same exact way. So I will show you the pieces that come with it as we, as we put it together. So it says Happy Halloween. And again, I have just printed the embellishment pieces with more paper from the Dotson Stripes Halloween set. Our piece number 1, or piece number front, and that needs to pop out right there. I will tell you that when I cut this card out, my blade was not cutting, and so I got some new blades and they worked much better, but a couple of these pieces didn't cut perfect. Okay, so there is our front, and it is just the fence. So let's go ahead and put it together right now. I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue on the fence pieces. Match it up. And there is the front piece. Middle piece is also pretty simple. So there's our middle. You can tell where my blade was really struggling. That's our middle piece, and it's just the tree. I'm gonna glue the tree. You don't need to get every one of those branches. You might want to get a few of them. Oops. I don't know if it's showing up on the camera or not, but I've got a terrible glare coming in through my window. Seems like when the seasons change, I have to change my place for filming. Okay, and then we have the back piece, and this back piece is very similar to the other one. We have 2 bats, we have 3 stars, we have the half moon, the full moon, the back piece, and then again I have a stand to give it some strength. I'm just going to go ahead and put glue on the full moon. Move that up so you can see it. Then we have the half moon. And then if you want to, oops, that's so wet. If you want to, you can take your tree and lay it across there, and then decide where you want your bats and your stars, just because they're not going to show as well with that tree there. I'm going to add a star right here. If you want them hanging off a little bit, you can, but I wouldn't go very far. Otherwise, they're not going to fit in the envelope. You can do it a little bit because you do have some space to play with, but you don't want to go like way out here, if that makes sense. Okay, so there is your back piece. Oh, forgot that star. And then we have the reinforcement. I'm going to glue it on as well. And we're just going to line up those 2 pieces right there. And there we go. Okay, now we have our base. So let's put our embellishment pieces on. Whoops, before we do that, let's fold it. It makes it a lot easier if we fold it first. So I'm just going to score down on all of those lines. And really, you ought to be using a bone folder and doing this so that those are really good creases. There's another spot that my blade missed. It's all fixed. Have a new blade. Machine's cutting beautifully again. And there's my F, or my B for back. Okay, now let's go ahead and glue these little embellishment pieces down. And if you skipped over to watch just this video, I explained that these were cut using the digital paper and that I really like it. And I do have a video. It's not on here, but I have another one that will explain how to do these with your machines with either Cricut or Silhouette. It's really easy to do. But if you don't want to use the digital paper, you can use any pattern paper that you have on hand, or you can even do it out of a solid cardstock. But you could leave it blank if you wanted to, but I really like the pattern paper. I think it adds to the card. Once you've done one or two of these cards, they do go together fairly quickly. It's just the first couple take a minute, and I have done them differently, like I said, than some of the others that have done them. Just trying to maybe streamline. Let's see. Okay, so there's our embellishments, and we're going to take our sentiment, and it's going to go on the piece that says front, and this is the top of the card. Okay, now we need to take our front piece and we're going to slide it through that slot right above the F. Both F's are pointed in the same direction. I'm going to turn this over. There's a little score line on that front piece. You're going to fold it down. And then you're going to put some glue on it. We're not going to fold on the tab. We're going to fold on this score line right here. So it's actually the second score line on the right. We're going to fold that up, and that folded over tab that has the F on it should fold and land on this back piece right here. Not up here, but on this back part of the platform. Okay, then we're going to put glue on the F tab. And you can just take this front piece and fold it up, press it, and then you want to make sure that that pops open just like that, and it does. Okay, so let's fold it flat, and now we're going to put the middle piece on. So the middle piece needs to go towards the front, and this edge needs to be above the score line. Just press that, and now that whole thing pops up. I'll show it to you from the back. It slays down flat, and it pops open. My glue is still wet, so it's trying to come undone. And then from the front, there's those two pieces. Okay, so now we're on the back piece. So on the back piece, the B is pointing towards the left, and that is the way that you want it. You're going to take your back piece and flip it over so that when you slide it through that tab, another piece that maybe didn't cut all that well, I should have just recut these. So when you slide it through that tab, both the B's are pointed towards the left. They're in the same direction. They're backwards, but they're in the same direction. Okay, we're going to flip it over. And we are going to fold the B right on the score line. Make sure that that's in there nice and straight, and put glue on the B tab. Fold it over, again, not on the tab, but on that first score line. So it's actually the second score line. It's the first score line of the platform. We're going to fold it over and press it. So there's our tab, and there is the B. Okay, let's go ahead and put glue on the B tab. Bring this up, and go ahead and press it down. And then pop it opened and make sure that they both stand up. At this point, I would let these dry, because as we start moving things, if your glue is wet, you'll move them around. But I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. So do what I say, not what I do. We're going to take glue, and we're going to glue this back tab, and it doesn't matter which one you do. Not the back, the middle, sorry. And then we're going to fold those over and match them up. Just like that. And then again, give it a minute to let it dry. That's what happened with my first one, was I wasn't letting it dry, and it kind of, as I opened and closed it, it got off centered. So then you want to make sure that it's going to pop down, and I fold it both ways a couple of times. My glue is still wet, and I might be pulling it apart. Okay, and then once that's done, we're going to go ahead and put glue on this tab and glue that to the inside, right like there. And again, let that dry a little bit. I promise, if you let these dry in between each step, you'll have a lot better luck. And you can use a tape runner. Maybe that's what I should have done. I just think the glue holds it better once it's dry, and these get moved up and down. So there's our card. You're going to fold it with the platform down below, and then you pop it open like that, and you can go ahead and display it. And that is our Halloween night. And once again, we have the envelope. It just slides right in there. And you can go ahead and give that to the person that you're sending it to. So those are our two platform cards, our Halloween platform cards. This one is still, oh, that's better now that it's dry. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you will give these cards a try. They really are simple once you've done one or two of them. So give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe down below so that you don't miss any of my videos. Have a great Halloween and have a great day.